Welcome back to the show, to another episode of Riding the Rift podcast.
Yep.
Today we're joined by an amazing guest, a thrilling guest, a star in our local cycling community here in Kenya. He's set quite a number of records, blazing the trails in the road as well. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I guess we can start from your early days in cycling. We can all say there was a moment where we decided to get on the bike. It first started with a 20 km ride onto a 50 km ride, then slowly push yourself to do a century. So how was the beginning for you?
Well, my beginning to be a cyclist was sometimes I just say like sort of circumstances.
Yeah.
But I never knew like I could be a professional cyclist before. I never knew like this could be my day-to-day activities.
Yeah.
Until in late 2019. When my mom passed and I had to join college. So I bought my first bike to commute to college.
Yeah.
I've done art, videography and animation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's when I bought my first bike, and then now COVID came.
Yeah,
in the early 2020.
Also giving you more time to spend on your bike.
Yeah, so schools were closed, and I had cycled a bit with a local team. Yeah, so I remember my first longest ride was from Nairobi to Kajiado.
Okay. It's a long ride. How many kilometers was that? 100 kilometers, 100 plus?
Yeah, around 90.
Okay.
Yeah, going, but so to and fro.
You had to do it going and coming back.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite...
It was so tough. Like that was something like I had not experienced before, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a couple of the long rides with friends, with the cycling groups.
And are those friends you started along with still in the picture right now, racing and part of the community?
Well, some are.
Yeah.
But some are just like in cycling for business, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was brought up like in a bike shop. Yeah, so
wow, you knew everything, like fixing an issue on the bike isn't any problem for you.
Yeah, not growing up as a kid, but like when I started cycling.
Oh, okay. You were brought up in cycling in a bike shop.
Yeah, so like from 2019, I had this friend of mine from church, so he introduced me to a bike shop in Komarok. Yeah, so that bike shop used to go for weekend rides.
Oh, okay.
Had their walikuwa na some friends.
Yeah.
Who would come together and they just organize a weekend ride.
And are they still going right now? I've seen quite a few, like I don't know if I should say what was the name of this big group rides that used to happen in Nairobi. There's this group ride that was really big. I don't see them much anymore.
Critical Mass?
Yeah, Critical Mass.
Yeah, they happen every end of month.
Oh, so they moved on to sort of a monthly sort of thing.
Every Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Every last Saturday of a month.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's when I started my cycling, and so now when COVID came, I shifted from Nairobi to Eldoret. To stay a bit with my grandmother.
And that's
and my small brother.
Oh, okay. So you're from Eldoret. That's your home country.
Not really.
Okay.
I'm from Kambani, man.
Oh, okay. I guess we find a lot of cycling and endurance athletes in Kenya come from those sides, Eldoret, even Ukambani and Central. Find a lot of our endurance athletes hailing from those sides of the country.
I'm a Kamba, but now we happened to have a home in Eldoret. So I shifted there. Now during COVID time, I started cycling with the local riders from Eldoret. And then until this one time, we had just the normal rides from Eldoret to Iten.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Sule.
It's a really beautiful area. And the
had never been there before actually. So until that time. So on those just like normal rides, we happened to cycle from Eldoret to Iten.
Yeah. So speaking of Sule, so how did he help shape you? We've seen from a lot of your social media, moving on to just you riding, going for training rides with him. Also the Black Mamba Foundation thing that you are alongside him. So how instrumental was he in helping you in your journey to become a racer?
Sule was really a great person, and he was more of a friend to me. He was like a brother and a mentor. Yeah, he's the one who introduced me to racing now. Like, after being just a normal cyclist, so he introduced me to racing. We did a couple of races together. We've raced against each other a couple of times.
He must have realized a potential in you.
Yeah. I remember when he organized, he wanted to ride the Everest challenge, and I just cycled for like 2 months or so. I was like, I'm going to be there, support you.
It's quite a big challenge.
And then he was like, you must be crazy, you just started cycling and you don't know, like I didn't have even any idea of
what you're putting yourself into,
what an Everest is.
You just wanted to
to cycle against him.
That's a similarity of all great people you find out there. They just have that will and determination to just take themselves to the end, even not knowing what is ahead of you. It might be clumsy sometimes, but it's that mental toughness and that fortitude that I can do this and we'll do this.
And it was, I remember that time, he had started his Everest a little bit early, and then I had to cycle from home to Iten and then down to the valley. And then I remember that was my first ever crash that I had.
Going down that descent. It's so windy, so fast. It's, you don't make a mistake there.
I remember that was my first ever crash. And unfortunately I wasn't able to ride with him the Everest, but I saw him climb a couple of times.
You being there, I bet was a real push for him.
It was, that man was a beast, man.
Wow.
So he mentored me through. We shared a lot. I remember even my first pro cycling kit, I got it from him. And he was like, I was so happy about it. I wore it a couple of times, and then I just decided to keep it.
Oh wow, as a memorabilia. And then, I guess seeing how big at that time he was in the shape of cycling we have in Kenya, even in East Africa, he had been everywhere. He was, to have somebody like that telling you like, you got this, you can do this. Let's keep on training. I have this for you, giving you gifts here and there. Must have been the push. You just won't, you don't want to let that person down, such a person down.
He was like a god to me, like, a cycling god. And I remember, like, I used to, when even we were racing, I used to say, like, wherever Sule is,
that's the will to follow.
That's the will to follow. I don't care, even like we have 20 guys in the breakaway, as long as I'm there with
safe,
him.
And you have a chance of winning the race.
Not really winning the race, but at least, learn something from him. He'd tell you, like, do this and this. And my first best road bike to get, I got it also from him.
Oh wow. So he was really a father figure in cycling, if I can say so.
That was my first proper road bike, the Benotti.
Oh wow. We've seen lots of photos with that bike. You're really shining with that bike.
That bike I think won Tour de Rwanda, a stage in the Tour de Rwanda. Wow, I think so it was a great bike. And also, like, knowing that he used to ride that bike,
the journey the bike has been through.
I felt like, sometimes when I'm riding, when I used to ride it, I was like, I feel like him.
Yeah, your legs might be shouting at you, I'm in pain, but the bike helps you feel like no.
And I remember there's this race we did at that, and I beat him in the sprint with his own bike, and I was so happy about it. And we were just making jokes after the race.
Yeah. So speaking about that, your friends off the bike and when racing on the bike, was he friendly with you, or there was that spirit of competition where, yes, he's my friend off bike, but this is a race and we mean business?
He was so social. When it's like you could talk anything with him.
Yeah.
So sometimes he could make jokes,
even on bike
even on bikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I remember there's this word we used to say when we were cycling. Even when we went now to the Black Mamba development at the camp, he used to say no kuria gimana moro.
What does that translate to?
I don't know. I'm not a Kikuyu, but I think it's if you eat ugali with avocados. So he was just, in other words, he was trying to tell us like, it's never easy, no matter the challenges, you
have to push
you have to face them, find a way to tackle every challenge. So he used to have that phrase. And even today when we meet with the other Black Mamba development guys, we normally say those words, and
it reminds you of those were great times
with him. And
so speaking about the Black Mamba, you guys were the first cohort of people to be the Black Mamba development. So how did that materialize? How did that move on or develop for you guys?
Apparently, I was an invitee to the camp. So Sule had started this Black Mamba races. And he picked the best 3 riders from it, from the series, from the race series. And then and I was fortunate enough to be his friend, and and also he had seen my capabilities and the challenges I had gone through. So he just wanted to elevate me a little bit. So I joined the team as an invitee, but I never attended the Black Mamba races. But we had 3 guys who were in the Black Mamba races. I think the top 3 guys.
That's Patrick, one of them Patrick.
Patrick, Titus, and Moses.
But even looking at the races you guys do together, you'd be in the same position, like bracket position placement in the races. So your ability and theirs was, you can even say in some races you were better than them, in some races they were better than you. So you had what it took to be part of that group. It just wasn't out of being friends.
I also think it wasn't out of mercy or something. But
because here in Kenya, I'm sure everybody who rides a bike knows you from being at the front of each race. Your victories, and you tend to do it in all categories: mountain bike, road bike, and gravel bike. So how did you you said you started off with the road bike. How did you move on to mountain bike and gravel?
Unfortunately, here in Kenya we don't have so many races, and like you can't just personalize in one race. Say I'm a pure road racer, because you also if you're strong, you're strong. You also want to earn something from these races. As much as it's not big, but at least getting
something out of it.
And also getting these results out there. So I just thought of trying to be everywhere, to be in these races. And I was fortunate enough to be strong enough to take part in all these races, and apparently being in every podium.
It's not a small feat. Even in the competition we have here, it's really tough.
It's really tough, actually. So I just started small. My first mountain bike race, I think I didn't finish or something.
And but very different from how it is now.
So I just I like challenges. I like challenging myself and pushing myself to the limits. Yeah, so I started developing my skills together with my friend Sam. Actually, Sam has really played a big part in my mountain bike journey. Yeah, because I think he's
a really good cyclist as well.
He's a experienced mountain biker because he started his cycling way back with David Kinja.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
And as many people know, David Kinja was
the pioneer.
Yeah, like mountain bike is his thing.
Yeah.
So I learned so many things from Sam Kagiri. Yeah, and here we are now.
Yeah. And what about gravel? So how did gravel come up?
Gravel now came up from Sule. Yeah, from the Black Mamba series, the Black Mamba camp.
Yeah.
And from there now we got bikes from Giant. They supported us to do the migration. My first migration gravel race I did with I think a cyclocross bike, a borrowed one actually. Yeah. And so the second time we were fortunate enough to have gravel bikes from Giant, who through Sule. So yeah, I did my second gravel race was at Masai Mara, I think.
Masai Mara. Oh wow.
Yeah, that was now the second edition.
Yeah.
And from there now, the rest is history.
And out of the three, is there one that you particularly enjoy more than the other, or that you like doing, even though it's training or racing? Is there a difference you feel?
Well, I think I'm more strong in road and mountain bike. Unlike gravel. Yeah, I enjoy so much riding mountain bike. You know, out there in the mud, in the dust.
In the rain.
Climbs, rocks. You know, even if sometimes it gets scary. You know, but you enjoy doing it.
Yeah. And do you find that you get a better results in that in mountain biking since you enjoy it more than the rest?
Yeah. I think all my mountain bike races that I've done, I don't think I've been below top 3.
Wow. Huge congrats.
I think the least I think was 5th.
Yeah. It's always assured for you.
Yeah. Mountain bike, you know, once it starts, you can determine, like, you can, unless you get a puncture or you have a mechanical. But when you start at the front,
you can say I'll stick. If you have the legs, you'll be there the whole race.
You know.
Yeah.
You can even do like if you come out from the start, like the first 5Ks, you know, you're pushing hard. You make a gap. That's it.
And it becomes easier the rest of the way.
As long as you have the skills and you're fast enough.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, mountain bike is so funny. Like, it's not funny, like it's more of a time trial, because most of the mountain bike races you'll never find people hanging wheels.
Yeah.
Even if the hanging wheels is maybe a small section that's straight, because you don't want someone in front of you to,
in case of anything,
to leave maybe a stone for you.
Yeah.
So everyone is always on the wind doing mountain bike. Unlike road races, you know, road races you can
take shelter.
You can stay behind the big bunch until the last maybe one lap.
You can be smarter about it.
Yeah, but now mountain bike, you really need to stay at the front.
Okay, and that really depends on the legs you had in the morning of the race.
Yeah.
So with all these things, you'll find that you'll be doing mountain bike races that are 40, 50, 60 kilometer, road bike races that are 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers, and even road bike races that'll go even longer than that. So how do you train for the various differences? Because I imagine you do a lot of races and they won't all be similar.
I think now my training program has changed a little bit. Like unlike maybe the last few months. But speaking of maybe few months back, I'd train maybe 10 hours a week, 15 hours max. But like mix it up.
You know,
because you know the calendar is also mixed up. We don't have like from January to maybe this month is only road races. You'd find maybe even Saturday it's a road race and Sunday it's a mountain bike.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mix up my training. So I train road and mountain bike.
Yeah. And had that worked? You've mentioned a change. So had that previously worked for you? Your whatever method you were using?
Yeah, had worked. It has worked so much. Yeah.
I guess the change you've mentioned might have been because of your time in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But before we get on to that, I just wanted to ask you about. You said you're sponsored by Giant, and that came from Sule. How's your relationship with Giant? I've seen Squat as well. So, how's your relationship with getting the various sponsorships and keeping up with them?
Just to make it clear, I'm not sponsored apparently by Giant itself directly. But I'm supported by Bikes and Gear.
Bikes and Gears, okay.
Yeah, which it's a distributor for Giant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, I can't ride any other bike because,
Yeah, that's what they give you.
That's not actually what they give you, but that's in a business perspective,
Yeah.
They're selling Giant, so
just to put, you have to put out the name of whatever they have in store.
Exactly. So I'm riding for Bikes and Gear, and that's I think my strongest supporter now. Yeah, and I'm very happy to be working with them.
Okay. So we see a lot of your content online on Instagram, TikTok. So is there like do you have, as part of your, if I should say, agreement with them, do you have to put content out there to help build the name or anything, or is that just something you enjoy doing?
Yeah. As much as I'm doing it for them, it's something also like, I studied a little bit about videography, about, all this social media stuff. And I think it's a win-win for both of us. Because, they're supporting me, and also I'm giving something out. And also like on these races, I appear on podiums. And,
it's really good for their names.
And it's so I think it's a win-win for both of us.
Both of you. Yeah, and Bikes and Gear they're really good because they also sponsor a lot of our local races.
I think they're sponsoring almost all the races.
Oh wow!
In the cycling
it just
calendar.
Gives more opportunities for more races for people to go out there and put themselves out.
And I also think like, the cycling community should also support them as much as they're supporting us as well. Because you see like they give so much to the cycling community. Like, sponsoring all these cycling races, and
not asking for anything.
We have more than 20 races. And like, some sponsors who only maybe come once a year. It's quite something,
they're keeping our cycling afloat, the competition afloat here
in
Kenya.
And it's not something that you'd find everywhere. So I think, cycling community also need to appreciate them. And appreciating them, it's by getting to the website, buying stuff from them,
all listeners, you've heard shop Bikes and Gear Kenya.
It's on my Instagram bio. You just click the link
and shop. So are you a full-time cyclist yourself?
It's kind of a mix-up because I also have my own side hustles, but I spend most of my time on the road. Yeah.
So do you think, is it easy for a lot of Kenyans to have cycling as a full-time job, or we're not yet there?
We are heading there. So I think maybe in some other few years to come, we already have cyclists who are doing it full-time already, like the likes of Timamani, the likes of myself also. And at some point it's also challenging because of like the sponsors, and they're not so many. Yeah, so yeah, you can't say it's something that you'd advise someone to take it.
It's not so
as
feasible
for now.
yet.
As for now, but if you have something else that can also jump in, and you are able enough to do both of them, it's good for you.
Oh wow. So moving on to, I guess, more racing. You were part of the team Ride United. And you're lucky enough to get the chance to go to Europe, Netherlands specifically, if I'm not wrong. For a couple of months to race. And so how did you find life in Netherlands?
It was like kind of a mixed reaction. And personally I was happy to be there. I was happy about the experience and everything in general, but we were maybe unfortunate when we got there. Things to do with the weather and stuff.
Peak winter time.
It really took us
a while.
It really took us along to adapt. To adapt to the weather and the culture as well.
Coming from the tropical Kenya, it's very different once you hit the winter.
Exactly. But it was a very great experience. We enjoyed our stay there. We did a couple of races. Which I think we have not reached to that level as compared to the races here in Kenya and maybe let's say East Africa in general. But it was a very great experience, and I'm really thankful to the parties who joined hands to get us there, and for the stay it was something.
So how did you find the races there? From the TV we see the Belgians. There are a lot of these Europeans they are compared to us Kenyans, they're quite big, and I'd imagine in a road race, especially like a circuit sort of crit race, they can, if you're small, people can really bully you around. Did you find that? Did you notice that while there?
Like as I said, racing in Europe and here it's
very, very different.
It's very different, you know. Not in a bad way, but some of our races we take them as, group rides or something, compared to racing in Europe, like when you're racing in Europe, it's, that's a proper race. Doesn't matter if it's a small race or it's a big race, because people show up in big numbers. Doesn't matter the level of the race, but people are out there, very competitive. The amateurs and the pros all mixed up, and people are there to challenge each other, and racing in Europe is very tough.
It's quite difficult,
and it's difficult and tough. The races they're not so much difficult compared to our races here.
So what's the difference with the types of races you did here compared to what you normally do here, those road races?
The competition,
and the terrain, even coming from altitude, I can imagine you could say I have more red blood cells in me, so I can give that extra push.
I don't know how to put this, but I think the terrain is quite different, because here it's you're either going up or down, unlike in Netherlands, it's actually we were flat below roads, sea level,
valleys.
So
did you feel compared to Kenya that your lungs had more, sometimes more than your legs, moving down altitude?
That's what happens when you go to
sea level,
to low altitude. You spend more on your muscles than your heart rate, because there you'd push like 400 and your heart rate is like 130,
but your
150,
legs
but your legs are
at you.
their legs are shouting. But racers they are fast, they are strong, and I also think that's because of the level of competition and number of races that they have.
Yeah, and also I'd say the number of years some of these guys have been riding for.
Because in the Netherlands, actually bikes are many than the cars.
Oh wow.
Now in the city, in Amsterdam, actually in the next maybe 2 years, they're going to pass this rule of there will be no car in the city.
Oh wow, that's how much cycling is going on there.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you are commuters or pro cyclists.
Yeah.
Every homestead has a bike.
Has a bicycle. Wow.
You can really imagine of that, So that's something we really need to work on and maybe adapt. And also I think the cyclists in Europe, they are more supported by not only external parties but also their families.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And here,
it might be a big ask for some people.
Even your parents, even some of the parents are against being cyclists. They think
the danger they see out of it.
They think you'll get out there and be hit by a car.
Yeah. They think you might be spending too much money or too much time.
Yeah. Actually, here in Kenya, they are more against the safety issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I think that's because also
the culture is not there.
Our country also, Europe is more advanced. They have these cycling lanes. You'd find a proper cycling lane of about 20 kilometers.
Wow, it's a cycling highway.
Actually a cycling highway. You'd find, you can't find
you'd have to sometimes battle it out with the cars, and it gets pretty hectic and dangerous.
Not sometimes, always. You always, where I stay, I spend 30 to 40 minutes in traffic.
Before I can get
somewhere I can train proper without worrying of cars. But I'd still, even if there are not much traffic, but I'd still be worried of, You never know, maybe someone didn't sleep at home, maybe slept at the bar or something, and it's now going home.
And they're very reckless driving.
So just have to watch out for yourself.
So that hasn't put you off cycling even the slightest. The danger of it. I can imagine for a lot of people they'll be thinking of the dangers, what they hear out there, and they'll reserve themselves to only maybe cycling in their neighborhood. They won't just take it far.
I think everyone is different. And I think when we think of dangers, we'll never do anything.
That's true. It holds you back.
Because even the guys playing whichever the game is, whichever the sport is,
there's always a danger.
There's always there.
So speaking of other sports, have you always been doing cycling, or did you have a love for another sport before you joined your cycling?
Maybe in high school.
What did you play in high school?
In high school, I was actually everywhere.
Okay. Multi-talented. Used to be the guy who would be in the basketball team, the football team, the hockey team.
But I was not good enough, but I was just everywhere so that I could not be in school for long. Just get out maybe when they're going for games. So but I did rugby.
Oh wow, I also dabbled in a bit of rugby myself while I was in high school. What position did you play?
Which position? I can't remember.
I guess you were not in the park. You were in the
outside, because I think I can run very fast.
Also, you're a sprinter. I played as a fly half myself.
I played rugby a bit. I played basketball. Those two are major.
Oh wow. So moving back to Europe, was there one particular aspect, whether it was sprinting, climbing, endurance, that you felt that you had an edge over the Europeans there, or were you thrown in the deep end and they were controlling the game?
In Europe you can never say you can control the race, because as I said, people there are strong. They have all the advantages than we have.
And what about something like climbing? Or they'll still have the Alps, all those the passes, the
cycling is is more of science, and so many things have evolved.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I remember there's this race we did in Limburg, close to Belgium, and our director sportive was like, this is your race, because it was up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah, had a lot of climbs, and we had guys from E10.
Yeah. Who you assume they'll do very well in that.
The likes of Paul and Lorot.
Yeah.
And also us, because we've raced a couple of races here
you're all really
that
up
are
there.
going up, and we were making jokes about the race, because one of us, Joseph Kamau, was telling the director sportive, like, here in Europe, it doesn't matter whether you are a climber or you'd find maybe a track guy beating you in the climbs.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Because they're putting in big watts, big powers. So by the time you're getting to the top of the climb, you're already
the
cooked.
climbs, I assume, are then that means they're not long. They're just very short and punchy.
They're just short and punchy.
Okay.
Because even the
true classic style.
Yeah, the Amstel Gold Race, it happens around that place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we climbed a couple of climbs that were
part of that race.
That were part of that race.
Wow.
Yeah, and that race was one of the hardest races, considering that we can climb. That was the toughest race. None of us finished the race actually.
Oh wow. So you are all and that must be also like a shock to your system, because moving from Kenya to here in Kenya, you'll be, if you're not in the podium, you're winning the race. Yeah, so that must have been a shock to the system. Where,
well, when I did my first race, I didn't expect anything from the races in Europe, but to learn, better myself, get the experience, and maybe try it another time.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good way to step into the scene.
It's close to impossible when you come from here and say you'll go win races in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, you might be fortunate enough to win a couple of races, maybe where there is no much competition, or maybe you just get favored by the race.
Yeah.
But cycling there, it's another thing.
It's quite tough. Yeah,
it's quite tough. Everyone is strong actually, from the amateurs, from the pro riders, even the veterans.
I've heard somebody say the amateurs are strong, but the pros are smart.
Yeah. Because the amateurs, they just want to prove the pros something.
Yeah.
They want to maybe beat them in a race. Yeah.
And has that changed your perspective in cycling? I saw a post of yours while in Netherlands. You were unable to walk because of your 30-hour week. You're moving on from a 15-hour week. That must have been something.
That was, I was used to training 10, 15 hours a week. And it got to this point now when our director sportive was like, I think you guys need to train a little bit harder. So we kind of like took a break from the races, and maybe and focused on training a little bit. So we had this week where we had 30 hours.
Oh wow.
And everyone was, by the end of the week, you couldn't even like touch your
everything is just so sore.
Yeah, everything is sore. And we went for a walk in the city, and the whole walk I was just
you were wishing to have
I wished I could have just stayed at home,
at the nearest cafe where you could just rest for, even though it's 5 minutes.
But doing it over and over, it became something, we adapt it. And I'm even like now trying to do it also here. As much as there are no much races, but the fitness that I came with from there,
you want to maintain it.
I just want to maintain it. Because maybe you never know.
Something might work in hand in your next race as well.
Might work, and also maybe something might pop up.
And you'll just be ready to go.
Because they say, opportunity is not an opportunity when it finds you not ready.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this one found me. Yes, I was a bit prepared, but I wasn't that well
you
prepared.
Just didn't know enough of what it took.
Exactly. So
how has your training changed? Like have your interval sessions changed? Have they become easier, harder? Have you been doing more?
Well, I was just doing almost similar. So I just incorporated some from whatever I learned in Europe.
Because you hear a lot of this pro cyclists say the base training is a really big key. The amount of hours you spend in zone 2 need to be more.
Most of us here train mostly like every day you're going fast. You're maybe sprinting against each other. You're trying to take KOMs and stuff, but in Europe it doesn't matter. You'd find a pro going just maintaining his zone 2, and
they know what they're working for.
They know what they're working, and you'll meet the same guy and beat you in the races.
Also that has changed how you look.
It's quite different from how we train and how they train. So my training also has changed a little bit.
So is there like one certain thing that you see us Kenyans on the bike do that they do different that could help us push us to the next level? Or is it just increase your hours and not pushing every day?
Increase your hours, go to as many races as possible. I think that's the main challenge. I know like it's difficult to go to all races here because of the financial stuff. But when
as much as you possibly can.
Much as you possibly can, I think it's better.
Speaking of cycling in Kenya, where do you think we see a lot of cycling in Africa? Africa is getting bigger and bigger. We've seen Biniam Girmay winning the overall jersey, winning 3 stages of a tour, which is really big. The difference here in Kenya, the likes of you guys getting the chance, Team Amani getting the chance to go to Europe. So putting themselves out there more. What do you feel like? How do you feel like the cycling in Kenya is headed to?
Well, I think if we can start it a bit young. Because most of the cyclists in Kenya, and maybe let's say Africa in general, they started when
after high school.
I'd say when it's late but not too late. But unlike European cyclists, and
they'll be doing BMX when they're 7 years old.
You'd find, because I remember there's this time I was watching a junior race that actually I was eliminated from the race, and then now I just went and changed and went and watched a junior race. And I can tell you, if the pro riders here go to those junior races
and went against them,
they might also not win those junior races. So like you can imagine these kids, they're being brought up in such an environment where you're fighting in a race
at such a young age.
Such a young age. So you can imagine when they get to now pro level or maybe the amateur level, because they've already built up when they're young. So I think that's one of the challenges that we have. But we have the likes of Kenyan riders and Coach Keron, who is bringing up young guys, and the likes of Joy Riders, the likes of Safari Simbas. So I think in the next few years we'll have young cyclists who are strong enough, who can maybe take part in the junior races in Europe. So I think that's the biggest challenge that we have. Most of us start
when it's sort of late.
When it's sort of late, because most of the races that we did with would say the elite and the amateur riders, most of them were like, 20s, 19s.
Oh, wow.
And they're really strong,
They're
unlike
really strong,
us, So, yeah. So I think
even if you find at the age in their 20s, even just your average group ride, just your average ride, sorry, it's gonna be higher than what we have here in Kenya.
Yeah, because they learned it when they were young. And they embraced it and they grew up with it. So, if we can find more people doing the thing of nurturing the young talents, I think in the next 10 years or so we will be somewhere.
We need more development development
squads. Even Bini didn't start cycling just the other day.
He started. We've seen him. He's won tour of Rwanda.
Bini has raced he's been racing since he was, I think, 14 or something.
Wow.
He's raced against Pitcock in the junior races. He's raced against Remco when they were juniors.
So he just didn't.
He's been in the UCI camps. So, and I think that's one of the things that we really need to look at. Like, our federation needs to get these guys to the UCI camps. So that they learn when they're young. Like myself, I've never been to a UCI camp.
So that even if you send 5 people outside, those 5 people come back and bring so much.
They bring so much,
helps us grow.
And they're experienced. You never know, maybe they might be fortunate enough to be selected by a team or So I think that's something maybe our federation need to look at, support this cyclists, get to nurture them when they're young,
and I'd say also organizing of more races locally where you can sort of take yourself out there. It also gives you recognition. You have a chance of somebody to see how you ride outside. Oh, that's a good way to end it. So what next for you, Bobby, regarding your cycling?
For this year, I have maybe 3 major races that are lined up. I'm having a road race in Dar es Salaam, and as we all know, we're having this Jubilee Grand Nairobi race that will be happening in town. And also I might go back to Rwanda to do the Rwandan Epic.
Oh wow. And
probably this year try to win it, because I'm the first runners up from last year.
We'll be cheering you on from here.
So those are the 3 major events that I have this year.
Oh wow.
And I'm looking forward to great performance and great results.
We wish you a good luck. And we'll be cheering you on from here and hoping for your best.
Thanks, man.
So thank you for jumping on the pod today. It's been a great episode, my first live recording. So it's really good. And to have you here.
We really need more of this, like get cyclists who have been there before us, those who are there now, talk about the challenges, talk about what we really need to do. Get those guys who are in the cycling community. Those have been there long enough. I think they really know so much that we don't know. And such information will always be helpful to the people. For sure, helping you progress. So thank you so much, and that's it for today. Karibu sana.
We'll see you again next week, and stay riding.